morning, church. It's good to be with you here today, and I'm excited. Today we're talking about something that we doesn't get brought up very often in church, and that is the concept of fasting, of self-denial. Right now, if you follow a liturgical calendar, we are in the season of Lent. And Lent is the 40 days, well, it's really like 46, but you don't count the Sundays. It's the 40 days leading up to Easter, and it's marked by number one, remembering those 40 days of fasting that Jesus did in the desert before his ministry began, and also remembering the passion that he went through leading up to the cross. And it's marked by fasting, either light or rigorous, where the practitioner gives up something under the idea that every time that thing is desired, it drives us to God to say, I want God more. I desire God. And that really is the mark of fasting. Fasting is to say, food is good. I need food to live, but food is a blessing, and I want the one who gives the blessing more than I want the blessing itself. And that is a attitude and a habit in life that every Christian should have and should develop, is to say, whatever I have is a blessing. All the things in my life are blessings: my daily bread, my water, my Bible that I have to read, even the social media where we can interact and talk with each other. It's all blessings. But I want God more. I want the one who gives the blessings more than any of the blessings that I might have. And now, on the Day of Atonement, fasting was marked by repentance. That's why they were doing it. That's why it was commanded. Let's just read this quick. Numbers 29, verse 7. You are to hold a sacred assembly on the 10th day of the 7th month, and to practice self-denial. Do not do any work. Wow, that's almost a curse word in our culture today, isn't it? Self-denial, where the order of the day is do what you want, do whatever feels good, pursue pleasure above all things. That's just an old concept repackaged and made new again. The Greeks called it hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure above all else. There's a Christian author called John Piper. His name is John Piper, and he called himself a Christian hedonist because he pursued the pleasure of God above all things, and it was his pleasure to pursue the things of God. And I think that's a good way to turn that philosophy on its head. But we don't have to practice fasting in terms of repentance. Now, you could, it wouldn't be wrong. And in fact, there's times it would be appropriate in distress, or if there's great grief in our life. We see the Old Testament guys turn to fasting for a time to mark their sorrow, to mark their distress, to seek God. But we remember that there's no work that draws us, that brings about our forgiveness. We don't have to fast to get forgiveness, but we can fast and we can give up things to demonstrate to God the sincerity of what we're doing. And Jesus says that we would do it. Um, he gets asked, why don't your disciples fast like the Pharisees and the other people do? He says, you can't fast while the bridegroom is with you. I mean, that wouldn't make any sense. Who fasts through a wedding day? That wouldn't make sense. And so, but he said, but the day will come when my people will fast. And that day is now. So what would be the point of us fasting today? What would be some of the situations where we would do that? Number one, when we're seeking the salvation of the lost. Fasting is a way of telling God, I am very serious about what we're doing. It's a way of focusing ourselves. Um, when you go through a fast and you feel those hunger pains and you feel that desire for food, and we drive ourselves to God and we get driven there, that intensity of prayer, we're told to pray fervently, that the fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. And this fasting is a means of drawing out fervent prayer, and it's a way of expressing our love to God. It's to say, God, I love so much the blessings you give me, but I just love you so much more. I just want you above all else. And so, church, as you consider the practice of fasting, what that looks like, and how you could do it, I'm actually going to put a link below to John Piper's book, A Hunger for God, one of the best books on the practice of fasting that I have ever read. It's free. He gives it out as a free PDF. So I'm going to put that link below. You're free to check that out. Let me know your thoughts. And I just am praying for you today. May God bless you richly and make his face shine upon you.